Waveform distortion and distortionless line. Guess what the image indicate? Distortion. Signal transmitted over lines are normally complex and consists of many frequency components. For ideal transmission, the waveform at the line receiving end must be the same as the waveform of the original input signal. It requires that all frequencies have the same attenuation and the same delay caused by a finite phase velocity or velocity of propagation. When these conditions are not satisfied, distortion exists. The distortion occurring in the transmission line are called waveform distortion or line distortion. The two types of distortions are frequency distortion and phase or delay distortion. Frequency distortion: when a signal having many frequency components are transmitted along the line, all the frequencies will not have equal attenuation. The example is voice signal. It is a complex waveform consists of many frequencies. Hence, the received end waveform will not be identical with the input waveform at the sending end because each frequency is having different attenuation. This is called frequency distortion. The methods avoid to frequency distortion is when the attenuation constant is not a function of frequency, frequency distortion does not exist on the transmission lines. In order to reduce frequency distortion occurring in the line, the attenuation constant should be made independent of frequency by using equalizer at the line terminals which minimize the frequency distortion. Activity: a man is looking at a photograph of someone. His friend asks who it is. The man replies, "Brother and sisters, I have none, but the man's father is my father's son." Who was in the photograph? The answer is his son. Phase distortion: when a signal having many frequency components are transmitted along the line, all the frequencies will not have same time of transmission, some frequencies being delayed more than others. So received and waveform will not be identical with the input waveform at the sending end because some frequency components will be delayed more than those of the other frequencies. This type of distortion is called phase or delay distortion. The methods to avoid the phase distortions are: when velocity is independent of frequency, delay distortion does not exist on the lines. The phase constant beta should be made dependent of frequency. The velocity of propagation is independent of frequency. Distortionless transmission line. A transmission line is said to be distortionless when attenuation constant alpha is frequency independent and the phase shift constant beta is linearly dependent on the frequency. The condition for line to be distortionless is R by L equal to G by C. Assessment questions. References: so in this we are seeing the frequency distortion and phase distortion. The summary is: the received end waveform will not be identical with the input waveform at the sending end because each frequency is having different attenuation. This is called frequency distortion. So the methods to avoid frequency distortion is: the attenuation constant should be made independent of frequency and by using equalizers at the line terminals which minimize the frequency distortion. And the phase distortion is The received end waveform will not be identical with the input waveform at the sending end because some frequency components will be delayed more than those of the other frequencies. This type is called distortion, phase distortion. The phase constant beta should be made dependent of frequency and velocity of propagation is independent of frequency are the methods to avoid phase distortion. The condition for line to be distortionless is R by L equal to G by C. So, thank you.